Friday, September 1st. It's a cool, crisp day. It's about 67, which is a great respite from like the 80 to 90 degree weather we've been having for the past month. But it's a new month, so it means new challenges and new things. September happens to be Preparedness Month. So I thought it would be great to just take advantage of that whole theme and all those resources that are out there to make my family more prepared. Just made more prepared. And I'm not even talking about like prepper apocalyptic stuff. I mean, sure, that's fun, and I love doomsday preppers. But it's just even prepping your family for the unexpected, because we know that there have been droughts and floods and earthquakes and fires and all these natural disasters. And with the economy and inflation, like, who knows? So I thought I would learn some skills and do some things to help my family be more prepared. And that can be anything from, and this is off the top of my head, I haven't made a list yet, making an emergency plan, having like car emergency kits, taking a first aid course. I want to, and this doesn't really have anything to do with preparedness, but I really want to try to make a piece of clothing. I haven't made a piece of clothing since middle school, when I think we had to make an apron and home ec. Just a bunch of things to make myself more prepared, and if something happens, however large or small, I want to be able to do something about it and not just be the one standing there wringing my hands and hoping that 911 and hoping that emergency services comes. A challenge, it'll be fun. And we'll see if I can stick with something for 30 days. So, but right now I'm sitting in the work parking lot, and since I only have to come in one day a week and I'm usually the only one in the office, it'll probably be really silent in my office. Which is fine, which means I can just work undisturbed and unperturbed. Bye.
Good morning. Oh, scratch under the armpits. Who the cutest? She's the cutest. Hello, Scuttle. Hi, baby. Good morning. You're beautiful. You're so voluptuous. Yes, you are.
This really isn't an old skill that I'm trying to master, but it's rather just something I need to do because stuff is gonna go bad. So I'm planning to make chili. So I guess cooking from scratch is a good skill. So I'm going to make chili, and I usually just do a 3-bean chili with like kidney beans, black beans, and I have some pinto beans here. But instead I also have some ground chicken. So it's just the beans, a chopped pepper, a chopped onion, ground chicken if you want, and I have some squash that I'm just going to shred, put it in the chili for bulk. And then I thought these were diced tomatoes, but they're whole tomatoes, so I'm going to chop these up and put them in the chili as well. So I have this ring light thing that I haven't used because the only plug it has is into a USB. And there's no way to like carry this tripod around and have a USB plug. But then I got this charger, all these different little ports on them. And so now plug it in, has a USB. Oh, it's lighting up. And it's lighting up. Now before I actually start cooking anything in here, I'm going to chop up my vegetables. So I have this pepper. Doesn't look that great, but it needs to be used. Ugh, it's a little gross part, so we'll cut that off. And I'm not gonna go like that. Put your thumb on the stem, and you can rip out most of the insides with the seeds. And you can rip out like the ribs and the rest of, shake out the seeds, and then you can just chop it. All right, now that we got that, we'll just toss it in the pot. And now to go chop an onion. Okay, we're gonna go with one this size. It could go a little bit bigger, but it just depends on what you want in your chili. Okay, now that I have that, I'm going to put, this is avocado oil, but you can use anything, and we are going to brown the veggies before we put in the meat. Just stir that to coat everything. Right. So this should be browning, and while we're waiting for that, I have already put all the different beans in here. A can of black beans, a can of kidney beans, and it was like a extra large can of pinto beans. But for some reason you can't find the 15-ounce pinto beans anywhere. So put them in here, drain them, rinse them so they're ready to go. Let me get this. Oh, that's another piece. But we will chop up the squash. All right. Now let's put in the meat. Let's pull this to the side. Okay, the meat and vegetables is cooking along nicely. I chopped up the whole tomatoes and put them in this can to measure out 15 ounces. So put those in there. And we're just gonna see if we need to put more tomatoes. And it really is to taste and what you have. So I might just chop up the rest of that tomato, can of whole tomatoes, and then you put 15 ounces of water in here. I learned about this recipe whenever I was in grad school, and I just needed something really quick and like basic to throw together. And this really is just a lot of canned vegetables and beans. So people may argue it's not the healthiest, but it was easy. It's like, and they were all 15-ounce cans. So it's really, you cut them open, you dump them, you cook them. And then over the years, I just came up with other variations. I think I'm gonna chop up the rest of those tomatoes. I put in 15 ounces of water, but once again, it depends on how like watery you want your chili. Do you want it more like a soup or a stew? Another thing that you do is, that 15 ounces is really supposed to be 15 ounces of broth, like chicken broth, turkey broth, beef broth. But I usually just do water and then use a bouillon cube. These are some, where are these from? Lidl. 1 cube to 8 ounces of water. Well, we use 15 ounces of water, so we're just going to put 2 cubes. And it's beef bouillon. Even though I cooked it with chicken, it's fine. It's whatever you want. And you can also use better than bouillon as well. So I'll pop that in there. Chop up the rest of the tomatoes. Actually, let's put these beans in there and see if it changes. Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna have to put more water in there. So I'm gonna chop up the rest of the tomatoes. I think I'm gonna put some more water, maybe 1 more can of water, 15 ounces. And then you want it to start to boil again. And I'm not going to put another. Okay, now for the seasoning. All you really need is salt, pepper, and chili powder. And it really is just to taste. Get a little spoon of whatever, and I know I just used the chili powder on this spoon, so it might be spicy. Tastes really tomatoey. I'm not really tasting the chili powder. It's like tomato and salt. So I might put a little bit more in. Once it starts to boil, I will taste it again.
You got a bottle of wine.
That was actually the wine your Aunt Karen gave us.
Oh, okay.
It's fine enough.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's
I
Chardonnay.
imagine most wines are fine enough. Like, you like Moscato though.
I do. I read Riesling the best though.
But I imagine you don't have like a preference for like a vineyard, right? You're probably not like, I only drink sparkling city cedars vineyard
No.
because their Riesling is so
Well, I mean, the one that you always see on the menu for Riesling is what, that Chateau Michel, Saint Chateau Michel or something.
You can tell ya.
But that's the Riesling you always see.
Okay.
I don't know, I get like, what is it, Barefoot, Yellowtail, whatever the cheapest is. Or you can go to Aldi and get Winking Owl.
I wonder if we could have rendered soap with all the fat that's in these bottles.
I don't know, but that's what I'm doing in September. I'm doing a different skill a day.
Are you? A different skill a day?
Yep.
Tell me about what skills will be...
Well, skills and like other things. I don't know if it's a skill, but today I made food from scratch.
Okay. Okay.
And then I have a cast iron skillet in there that I want to actually use.
Okay.
So I want to like get that all prepared.
Cool. All right.
What else? Oh, I want to make a car emergency kit. It's not really a skill, but it's something.
Something to do, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're going to do that map and navigation course. That's a skill.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a very fun skill. Very useful skill.
So, yeah, then we have other skills.
Are you just recording yourself right now?
Alright, so I'm out on the porch, have my chili, it's finished. I didn't end up adding any more seasoning. But what I was saying before is that I found this recipe whenever I was in grad school because I needed something. Like when I was in grad school, I was also a hall director. And if you know anything about that job, you were busy 24/7. So I was going to school and then I was working pretty much like 10 to 2, then going off to evening classes between like 4 and 8, 4 and 9. And then I would get back around like 9:30, 10, and I just needed something I could easily just heat up. So I came across this recipe, and it literally was just using cans of items, like sitting out here on the porch. We don't have any porch furniture, but I did put this blanket out here. Try the chili. I mean, it's good. It doesn't taste any different than when I made it before. So, 2 thumbs up for this. But I honestly don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Something I do have a cast iron skillet that I've never used. I don't even know why I have it. I think it was from some like roommate situation, and then I just took it when I moved out because no one was using it, and I was intrigued. So I've never used it, never used cast iron, and I know there's a whole like you have to season it and treat it and bake it in the oven and whatnot, but I want to use it. So I was thinking about that. Another thing I was thinking about is I have a water filter, like a camping water filter. I want to try to use that. I also have a little camping stove that you fuel with like a little like wood pellet. So I want to try that as well. So yeah, so those are just some things I'm thinking. I'm also thinking about figuring out escape routes, like different escape routes from, like if we needed to evacuate. How do we get out of our apartment complex to safer territory, to safer ground. Car emergency kit. Those are just things I've thought at the top of my head. But we'll just see what tomorrow brings. Thanks for watching.